Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another great, super cool radio interview. I'm your host, as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I got an incredible guest joining me at this time. He is the frontman of the Nixons. He's also an incredible musician, producer, and songwriter. Please welcome Zac Maloy.
Hey.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's awesome to have you on the show, and I definitely look forward to chatting with you.
Awesome, man. Thanks, Matthew. I'm happy to be here. Like I said, I appreciate you taking the time to get the word out about my little band.
Of course. I know kind of like the last half of 2023, Nixons, you dropped a new single, re-recorded version of December. You also have a live album coming out. It's available for pre-order right now. So I do want to talk about all the great stuff you guys been working on.
Yeah, cool. In some ways, I'm kind of bummed to say 2023 was a little bit more of a quiet year. The year before, we had actually done the first proper kind of tour since we had reunited with Everclear and Fastball. And I will say December came out in December. See what we did there. And then we've got two. I just cut rhythm guitars on a brand new song. John just played drums on it last week. And we've got another song that's already mixed and mastered. So we're gonna hit 2024, hit the ground running with a couple new songs. So I'm really excited.
Oh no, for sure. And I know we got quite a bit discussed with the upcoming plans for the Nixons, and I know you've been talking about new music for a little bit now, so I definitely look forward to hearing about that. But I do want to talk about first, so the re-recorded version of December, as you said, released in December. So, like, how did that come about? Re-recording December.
Well, I've told this story before, but basically, I got a random email. Hey, would you want to be a part of a Christmas compilation album with rock bands? I don't think it was called A Very Grungy Christmas, but it was something like that. Probably pretty cheesy, but it never did. That never happened, or at least not with us. But it got me thinking about the song December. And for fans, they'll know that I changed a couple words. I literally changed Valentine to Christmas time. And I talked about a star in the northern sky and it became a Christmas song. And then the other part of it was that we re-recorded the music, obviously. And it's a little more rockin' now. I mean, it's still a ballad, but it's a little bit more, I don't know, Nixons, for lack of a better word, or at least what we were in the beginning.
All right, on, I gotcha. I really enjoy the the re-recorded version of it. So I'm curious for you having to go back, like listen to the original version of December and then re-record it. Was like a different process for you?
I mean, it really was, Matthew. I mean, I got to say, I've been doing this my whole adult life, 30 years in the music business. I've written with, every kind of artist. I've had songs on the dance charts, the country charts, the rock charts, the pop charts. But I've never done anything like this. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of amazing, really, to go reimagine a song from 23 years ago. So it was really fun and kind of a cool exercise. And again, I didn't change a ton of the lyrics because the song is already called December and it's about snow and fireplace embers and all those things. So a couple tiny twists lyrically, and it's a Christmas song. And the cool thing is someone was telling me the other day that they put together, a playlist every year for Christmas, and they just added December to it. And yeah, that's pretty neat. There we will sit on at least a few people's playlists, somewhere between Mariah Carey and Paul McCartney, right?
Hey, that is a solid lineup. Paul McCartney, Mariah Carey, the Nixons. I mean,
man, good company.
Can't go wrong.
That's right.
So I'm curious for you. Will there be any more like re-recorded, reimagined versions of previous Nixon songs?
I don't know. That was a very purposeful thing. There was a reason for me to do it. I guess if someone were to tell me, pick a song and say, could you make this song, a duet, something like that. You never know what might happen, but no plans. That was a very purposeful thing. As I said before, I'm really excited, at least right now. Kind of juices flowing with this new material, brand new songs, brand new Nixon songs, and I'm going to actually release a little solo song as well. So yeah, I'm excited. I think the holidays, it happens every year, right? To everyone, you take a break and you're ready to hit the ground, in the new year. So we are doing that.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward. As I said, it sounds like you got some great things lined up, also with the Nixons and your solo work as well. Before we get to that, though, I have to cover this. I'm super excited for it. You have a live album coming out, currently available for pre-order, Live at the Trees. So how did that album come about?
Well, we've sort of, I won't say struggled our whole career, because I think we've managed to get the energy of what we are live onto our albums. I am proud of the albums. However, we've always been known for and talked about because of our live show, and in large part because in the 90s, when no one was paying attention, we would do things like light the stage on fire, smash a guitar, jump into the crowd, which none of that comes across on vinyl. I'm just realizing. But my point is that the live show has always been our lifeblood. And so we recorded a bunch of shows on that Everclear tour, and they came out okay. But this was a full 90-minute set, not just a short 30-minute opening set. So we got the recordings back and started talking, and decided, what, this sounds pretty badass. And we had our buddy Todd Pipes, who's a great mastering engineer, master it for vinyl. Todd of Deep Blue Something. He's working on an awesome mastering career now, and he's a good friend of mine. So with his help, we turned it into a pretty great piece of audio, then realized very quickly that this was going to have to be a double album, because it was indeed a full-length 90-minute show. And so yeah, we did it, and it sounds great. It is available. I should say the nixonsofficial.com is our website. Go follow us on social media, on Instagram. We're always posting. I just posted a picture of my floor in my studio with a guitar and some cables and guitars, saying that I'm tracking guitars on the new song. Matthew was tracking guitars about an hour before we got on here. So yeah, but the vinyl double album, it's kind of cool too. I should mention that when you open it, we asked our fans about 6 months ago to send in pictures or pics or anything. So it's a collage of all of our fans, what they sent in to us, which I think is really cool. Again, they're kind of the reason we're doing all this,
Oh no, exactly. And it's awesome, not only to have awesome live, recording, but also to include your music, the community around you, the people who supported you over the years. I think it's a great combination.
Me too. I'm really excited for it. And we had a slight setback. There was a problem with the test press that was one of the songs was skipping. So as opposed to pressing up thousands of flawed vinyl, so they caught that. But for people who have pre-ordered it that might be listening to this, hang tight. It's going to come. Promise.
Oh no, for sure. Also, good to have quality control. Obviously, the song skipping, bad thing. So quality control, even if it sets it back a little bit, it will be worth it.
Right on.
And I will leave a link for the store in the description of this podcast. Well, if anyone's interested, make sure to get that pre-order in. So I'm curious for you, obviously the new album, live album coming out on vinyl, but how do you listen to music? CD, vinyl, digital? Which one do you prefer?
Well, that's an interesting question, because I asked for a decent turntable and didn't get it for Christmas this year. I got other stuff that I actually needed more for my actual job. So it's all good. But it's funny because someone bought me a couple of vinyls this year, because I think that there was a time when people in my family thought I might be getting it. I have a pretty great vinyl collection because of my father. I discovered his vinyl collection when I was a kid, and I've talked about this in interviews before, but I used to just sit and listen to his records, and my favorites were Jesus Christ Superstar, random, and the rock opera, and Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band. And those, you know, those, I still have those vinyls. I got all his vinyl. And then I've got my own stuff from when I was a kid. So I don't listen via vinyl. To be honest with you, man, I'm pretty basic when it comes to that. I you know, run every day, and I just put in the ear pods and put on a podcast or listen to the music. I'm usually getting mixes in for whatever projects I might be producing or writing on at any given time. So there's usually, you know, 20 minutes of songs I got to listen to and take notes on and send notes to my co-writers or artists that I'm working with or whatever. But yeah, man, I will say that I have a studio that I have great speakers and great, you know, gear. So I'm listening to the important stuff on good gear, but not so much otherwise.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, I do hope you do get a nice turntable at some point. Because yes. I do like how you're talking about, you know, vinyl from like, you know, listening to your dad's vinyl, because that's how like I kind of got into vinyl myself, because my dad has a nice, you know, vinyl collection. I got into like AC/DC, Black Sabbath, you know, bands of that nature, you know, from my dad's collection. So I really appreciate and can really connect with that.
That's cool.
So now I do want to talk about, because you mentioned a few times that I'm really excited to hear more about this. So you said you're tracking, you know, guitars, vocals, you know, putting some songs together for the Nixons. So where are you in that process, and like how has everything been going?
Man, it's going great. Like I said, one of the songs is mixed and mastered and ready to go. And we thought about releasing it, and then we decided to release December for obvious reasons. And then in the meantime, I wrote this other brand new song, and I kind of just thought, whoa, I love the one that we've recorded, but I really love this one. And so we decided we would sort of hold off releasing that one and release this one first. I'm not saying song titles, so people are probably just confused as to what the hell I'm talking about. But suffice to say, one of them's done. The other one, my guitar part's done. The drums are done. I'll wait till Ricky and Jesse get me their guitar and bass parts, and then I'll cut a final vocal on it, and then we'll have our guy mix and master it. And I would think, hopefully, I don't know when this will air, but at some point in the first quarter of this year, 2024, we're going to have music out. I'm just going to go ahead and say that, whatever I got to do to make that happen. So yeah, again, follow us on social media, and you know, we'll be making announcements soon.
Well, right on. I'm really happy to hear you guys got some new music in the works. Now, can you give me like, you know, details or like what people can expect from the new set of music from the Nixons?
Well, one of them is interesting. It's about some murders that happened. A murder that happened when I was a kid in the small town I grew up in, Ada, Oklahoma, and so it was the subject of a John Grisham book and show. It was called Innocent Man. Someone was wrongly accused. Blah blah blah. So it's kind of about that. So kind of murder rock a little bit. And then the other one, I won't say anything lyrically just cause. But I will say that the reason I'm excited about it is for hardcore fans, songs like Wire, the song called Leave, which is a real big fan favorite. This song is sort of cut from that cloth. When I say that, it's the same spirit of those songs, but also even down to the fundamental idea of me starting it on guitar. I start Leave, and then the band kicks in, and this is another one of those. And when I came up with it, I thought, oh, I haven't done one of these in 20 years. So anyway, yeah, I'm super excited about it. And then the cheesy thing I'll say is that I think my voice is better, is as good as it's ever been, because when we reunited, I remember, you know, coming up to my, you know, sort of studio and picking up a guitar and starting to relearn all these songs I hadn't played in 15, 16 years. And the next day I couldn't talk. I had lost my voice because I'm trying to. So I warm up my voice every night, and I run through the set every night. I've got some acoustic shows coming up, so I'll have 90-minute shows of just me talking and singing. So when I say my voice is better, I'm not tooting a horn. I'm just saying I have been working at it. working at it in my 20s was staying up till 7 o'clock in the morning on the tour bus, drinking too much, and then not warming my voice up and screaming every night. So just for obvious reasons, I'm excited for people to hear these new songs, and really proud of what we've released. You know, not just December, but we released an EP called Kaleidoscope with a single by the same name, and another one before that called Sonic Boom. And the fans have said it too. They're like, "Wow, you guys sound better than ever." And I would agree. You know, John, my drummer, is the drummer for Seether, so he's never lost his chops. So I think we are, you know, as I think we're hitting on all cylinders as a band, which is a funny thing to say for a bunch of guys in their 50s.
But it also shows that obviously you really take care of your voice now. You know, better than when you first started with that. But now you're really taking care of yourself, and you guys definitely are. All the music you guys released since regrouping has been it's just been very solid, and I've just been really digging it. And I definitely agree. Like, you've been pumping out some really great music.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that, and we're proud of it.
For sure. So I'm curious, like, for you guys, when you're writing music, obviously you guys live in different parts of the country and all that. So, like, how is it writing music now compared to back 20, 25 years ago?
Well, there's good and bad, right? The bad is that it was a blast to hang out in my 20s and go to the rehearsal space, and Jesse's playing a riff over there on guitar, and John's playing a beat. I'm like, hey, keep doing that, and I start playing the guitar. I remember walking in with the riff for the song I just mentioned called "Wire." This pretty simple riff. I'm not really a riff guy, but there's something beautiful about that, right? A rock band just jamming in the room. Ricky's in Utah, John's in Oklahoma City, Jesse's in Oklahoma City. I am in Nashville, and so we can't do that. We don't really do that anymore. We did get together and do some pre-production all together in Oklahoma City before we released the EPs. But for this new music, I mean, it was a very simple process. I have a thread with my bandmates, and I sent them just me playing guitar to a click for these two songs. The guys texted back, love it. I think the tempo should be a little faster on this one, Zach, or can you redo it? I replayed it. Jesse, I think, said something, on one of them, maybe a guitar solo here. Then we got back the first rough mix, and we were like, well, the guitar solo sort of. So we are doing that, what we did back in the day, just via Dropbox, or whatever. So, yeah, good and bad. I mean, it's there's nothing like writing a song in the room with a person, but me sending the stuff across the Ethernet, it works. So yeah, we're able to do it, that's the good news.
Oh no, exactly. Your process is still, fundamentals are still there. It's just the space between you guys have gotten just a lot larger across the country.
Exactly.
So I do got just a few more things, and we'll talk about what 2024 has in store for the Nixons. But I'm curious for you. As I said, you've and as you have said before, you've written and produced music for a lot of artists. Country, pop, rock, and all different styles. So, like, I'm curious for you. Do you approach writing or producing music with somebody different from like your own solo material or the Nixons?
Well, listen, I've been lucky enough to be in the room with, Keith Urban. I had a hit song with Carrie Underwood, and you obviously, you obviously, there are some rails you have to stay between when you're working with an artist. I know that certain artists don't want to sing about picking up chicks because they've been happily married for 25. You know what I mean? There's just certain things. And with the Nixons, not that I'm writing songs with the Nixons about picking up chicks. I've been happily married too for 25 years. So, but the interesting thing about your question is that, I do treat my songwriting as a job. I do, I really do. I get up every day. I try to make sure I've got some ideas flowing. I prep with my co-writers if we've got a big artist the next day. Over COVID, we did a lot of Zoom writing. I wrote, what ended up turning into a #1 song with Shinedown on a Zoom session. So I take that part of it very seriously. I take the Nixon seriously too, but there are certain things that I can write about with the Nixons, I'm not writing a song about a murder that happened in Ada, Oklahoma, and thinking Tim McGraw is going to cut it. That's just probably not going to happen, but it gives, I think the cool thing for me is it gives me a great creative outlet to just, something pops into my head and I want to write a song about it. I do. Yeah, it's actually, I think, a blessing, and probably better for my actual job of songwriting, that I get to sort of, think outside the box a little bit, from time to time. And yeah, so it's actually kind of best of all worlds, to be honest with you.
Oh, no, for sure. I think definitely, working with other people and different artists probably, improve, either your mindset or like your skills to songwrite, for your own personal, solo or the Nixons as well.
Totally. Absolutely.
But I'm curious, is there anything you picked up, like working with other artists? They're like, man, I might want to try this, for my own stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, too many to even to think about. But yeah, I mean, you pick something up all the time, oh, that's a cool trick. Oh yeah, let's do this na part over the outro while, so yeah, every day. And I just finished producing a record down on Music Row with a rock band. And, that you learn a bunch of stuff. You get a great singer in a vocal booth, and, you give them ideas and they say, yeah, but what if we did it this way? And that's the constant joy of what I get to do, which is create and collaborate with other people, including my Nixons bandmates. So yeah, I learn something every time I write. I should also say I teach a songwriting class at Oklahoma State University via Zoom, and a couple in-persons per semester. And I'll say, since I've been doing that for the last 2 years now, I've learned a lot from that. When you go, we'll do one lesson will be about writing songs for TV and film, right? It's called Sync. And, when I go and study this Goo Goo Dolls song, Iris, was written for a movie about angels, and this song was written specifically for this, or this song wasn't written specifically for anything, but the filmmakers made use of it in this way. So, you know what I mean? Like when I'm studying to put together a lesson plan, you learn something. It's inevitable, and I love that. And, just hearing how certain songs were written. And I've studied a lot of Bernie Taupin and Elton John, their partnership. And the fact that Elton never really wrote any lyrics, only music, and Bernie wrote all lyrics and no music. And again, I'm rambling a little bit, but I find all that to be fascinating. And you learn a lot teaching a class. You learn a lot writing songs, producing records. Yeah. So every day.
Oh, no, for sure. I really like, what you said, and kind of similar for me, because I just started going back to school this month, to finish my degree. And what I really like is like one of my classes, like a heavy like research class, and about different world topics. But it's just so cool. Like I'm always fascinated to like learn new things, even if it's not like a relevant topic to like what I'm doing right now, like my music podcast. But like it's always cool to like learn and just expand your horizons, through research.
Absolutely. Where do you go to school?
I'm doing online SNHU.
Right on. Well, congrats.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm really excited to, I'm studying for communications, and I've like definitely like started picking up just even like with, emails and stuff like that. I'm just trying to write better as well. And it's really, really helping me.
Awesome, man.
So now I do got to close that interview here in a little bit. So I do want to talk about, so like, I'm really excited. Like, what is 2024 looking like for the Nixons?
Well, first of all, 2024 we'll start with some solo shows. Again, you can follow me. Actually, my website is zacmaloy.com, plain and simple. And you can see announcements for new music and shows that I'm doing, etc. The Nixons, like I said, the thread has been lighting up every day about these new songs. And hey, just put the drums in the Dropbox. Okay, hey guys, just finished my Zac rhythm parts. So right now, we're pretty hyper-focused on getting some new music recorded. We also did a cover song that we've got also mixed and mastered, a Who song called The Seeker, that is a fan favorite that we've closed sets out with for many years. We did a studio version of that. That's in addition to the two new songs I've been talking about. I sort of forgot about The Seeker, that it's sitting there too. we didn't want to release a re-recorded version of December and then a cover song. So we're holding off on the cover until we get a couple originals back out there. So to answer your question, no gigs booked as of right now. We're getting offers for a couple festivals. And then, ears are always open. We were up for a couple of tours that are, what you would think 90s bands that put together a package, and it just didn't work out, either because John was out with Seether. His schedule with Seether definitely limits a lot of what we can do, but no big announcements for live shows, but definitely got some new music coming that we're super excited about. And just stay tuned.
Oh no, for sure. I know you guys got great things in the works, not only for new music, and definitely I hope to see you live at some point, because I know it's going to be an awesome time. But Zac, thank you so much for stopping by Super Cool Radio. I got one question, close this out, a little bit of a fun question before we wrap this up. So for you, I'm curious for you, do you have a favorite song, Nixons song, to perform live?
Okay. Well, I'm going to kind of cheat and say that playing Kaleidoscope, which is a brand new song, and another song called Crutch, that are the new, quote, new songs that we added to the set list. That is a blast, because it's stuff that you can see on people's faces that they've never heard these songs, or, well, they've heard the recording, but they haven't heard them live. We also released Kaleidoscope live as a single before December. So those are a blast. I mean, I got to say, the cheesy answer, Sister is actually fun to play, because it's acoustic, and there are parts where I dig into the acoustic. I'm acoustic. The rest of the guys are, but it's just I think it's a really well put together song. The builds, some hits that John and I hit together, and just the fact that it's typically everyone singing along. So I kind of cheated and gave you a couple, but to be honest with you, the other thing I should say is that there are a lot of songs that are fun for us to play because they're super high energy and intense. So, I kind of surprised myself when we got back and did those first couple of reunion shows in 2018. I was like, wow, this is fun. This is fun. Not that my day job isn't a blast. I mean, I'm blessed and lucky to make music for a living, but yeah, it's a fun set to do. And by the way, pretty tiring. I'm usually drenched in sweat at the end of the show. Yeah, just out there rocking out.
And that's how it should be. Should be rocking out, having fun.
Right on, Matthew.
But Zac, thank you so much for stopping by Super Cool Radio. As I said, I'll leave some links for the Nixons in the description of this podcast. Please check out and support them. Stay tuned. They got some great things in the works, like new music. So make sure to give them a follow as well. Zac, thank you so much.
Thank you, Matthew. Enjoyed it. I appreciate you doing it.
Of course, for Zac Maloy of the Nixons, I'm your host always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.